Well, hey, you, it's Jennifer. This is another Monday Fire. This is Monday Fire episode number 98. Look how close we are to 100. That's amazing. Remember when we first started these and we were like, we're just going to try it for a little bit and see what happens. Turns out the Monday Fires are your favorite, and I love doing them. So we're going to be talking today about a conversation that I had with one of my coaching clients in my Better Way program. So we're currently in our program where we're teaching women, how to monetize their social media, how to monetize their business in 8 different ways. So we've got hundreds of women in there. It's fabulous. We've got coaching calls, Q&As, et cetera. So I had someone raise their hand the other day and come up on the screen, and they had a question for me about, essentially it wasn't like the strategy as much as it was, hey, okay, so I'm getting ready to launch this thing. And I can't remember now if she was talking about launching a course or launching a paid group or launching her blog or whatever. And she was like getting ready to launch, but now she was second guessing herself. And it was a really interesting conversation because, whenever we're doing coaching calls like that, there's lots of people who are commenting in the comment section. So I can kind of get the pulse for the group. And there was lots of people who are like, I know exactly how you're feeling. I feel the same way. Like now that I'm getting ready to do the thing that I said I was going to do, all of a sudden I'm second guessing myself. One of the things that we put into our program this year was actually like asking people to make a commitment at the beginning of the program to not change course anywhere within the 8 weeks, simply because, especially coaching creative women, I know how many ideas most creatives have. I also know that whenever fear begins to really rise up in an entrepreneur, especially a female entrepreneur, especially a creative female entrepreneur, that what will happen is you'll start feeling scared. And so at the last minute, you'll think, I just won't do it. This is dumb. I'm dumb. Everything's dumb. Like, I just won't. And what I was telling this precious client on her coaching call is like, look, there's no chicken exit. Like, you've gotten this far, there is no chicken exit. And it was kind of like this funny, haha little moment where we all giggled. But I really sat with that after our call. And I was thinking, how many of us want a chicken exit so often when we're building our business? And maybe I thought of those words simply because I live in Kansas City. I live really close to Worlds of Fun. If you've ever been to Kansas City, you'll know that that's a huge amusement park. It's fabulous. I'm actually from Iowa, but our family used to vacation in Kansas City a lot in the summers. And, Worlds of Fun was just like, it was just the best thing ever. When you're a kid, like amusement parks are like so huge. Well, there are a few amusement park rides still that do have chicken exits. You get to the top of, I don't even know if there's one in Kansas City, by the way, because last year we're in the pandemic. And the year before that, I think is the year my best friend got me on a roller coaster, and I like cried the entire way up. And I just kept thinking, I'm too old for this. And is my life insurance policy paid? Like, that's all I could think of. It ruined the whole experience. But you know how, like, if you're going to do something scary at an amusement park, sometimes there will be a chicken exit. And I was thinking how, and it's for people who at the last minute are like, okay, I did all this work. I went up all these stairs. I climbed this whole thing. Like I got to where the rubber meets the road. I got right there. And then at the last minute, I'm like, no, I can't. And so I was telling this precious woman that this is what sometimes happens to us in business, because sometimes as we're like building a thing, as we're like, the start of the thing is often so sexy. It's fun in the beginning, and everybody's like, you've got this, girl, you can do it. And, we've got cheerleaders. And then we get to the point where we have to announce a book to the world, or we have to, tell our Facebook followers that we're going to launch a course, or we have to do an Instagram story where we invite people to join our paid group. Like, we get right to that point and we start to get cold feet. And we start to like look down and realize, gosh, I've worked my butt off to get, to where I am right now. Like, I've taken weeks of doing different things. I've spent, months honing my craft, years honing my craft. Like, and here we go about to put this thing out into the world. But then we look forward and we're like, but holy smokes, I am so scared. I don't think that I can do it. And in this particular case, that's what that woman was basically saying. I'm scared that this is not going to go over well. And here's what I told her. Now, listen, I'm going to use what you might think of as a terrible example. And so I promise you, I'm not trying to be like snarky. I'm not trying to be like sacrilegious. I'm not trying to be anything. But often the way that God shows me different biblical concepts is through like examples in marriage and parenting. Okay. Parenting being the number one, but this one's a marriage example. So what I was telling her was, listen, there is no guarantee that you're going to tell people you've got this new clothing boutique online and you'll get any sales, or that you tell people you've got this course and you'll get any signups. There's no guarantee you're going to get any traffic to your blog if you're launching it. There's like, we think that, so often when we're going to do something new and God's asked us to do something different on this side of heaven, we're launching a business, we're growing a business, we're launching a thing, we're putting something new out in the world. And what we secretly want is this like guarantee that we're going to see some level of success, right? It's like, we don't even need it to be uber successful. We just want to make sure that we're going to like do the thing and it's not going to absolutely flop. And so I think sometimes we rationalize in our head, like, I'm so scared. If I just knew this was going to work, if I just knew that this is what my people wanted, if I just knew that this is what they were going to buy, if I just knew that I had the right price, if I just knew that it was named correctly, if I just knew that if I get on here and do this Facebook Live right now and launch the thing, that people would, if I already knew what their feedback was, then I would know whether I could go ahead and actually do it. And the thing is there's zero guarantees. And the example that I was using with this woman was, it's no different than when you decided to get married, if you're married for the first time, right? I mean, I looked at Jason, he looked at me, we're getting ready to walk down the aisle. I literally can remember thinking, Lord, just please make this work. Lord, please let this last forever. Lord, please make this work. But there's no guarantees. I mean, yes, we gave, we did our vows and we committed to one another before God and family and friends and everything, but there's still no guarantee that he's not going to be a knucklehead or I'm not going to be a knucklehead, right? There's zero guarantee. And yet we look at our business and what we're like, we want some reassurance that there's going to be some results. It's similar to marriage. There just isn't. You have no idea what may or may not happen until you actually do the thing and you actually start like being married, right? I mean, you're praying and you're hoping, you're doing all the things that it works, but you don't know. I mean, yes, Jason and I said divorce isn't even, a word we're going to use. It's not even an option. Lots of people say that, right? And perhaps that's a bad example. But what I was trying to show her was, listen, there are no guarantees in business, just like there's no guarantees really with anything else. There's no guarantee that if you have a 9-to-5 job that you're not going to walk in tomorrow and your boss lets you know you've been let go. There's no guarantee. And so we really want, especially as entrepreneurs, guarantees, but there just isn't any such thing. And so I was explaining this to the coaching group and I wanted to tell you guys the same thing. I wish that we would know what was on the other side of our obedience, but I think of how rarely does that ever happen. I think sometimes we, especially as believers, think, God, if you would just show me, if you just give me some reassurance. I need 27 people to text me today and 14 to confirm through me through K-Love songs that this is a good idea. Lord, show me that this is really what you want me to do. Knowing, gosh darn good and well, that he showed you this is what he wanted you to do 6 months ago. Like we constantly want that reassurance. And so at the end of the day, this is what I told her. And this is what I told you. If you believe in your heart that you're doing the best of your ability, the thing that you think God's wanting you to do on this side of heaven, where he's actually, if he's confirmed that for you or not, if you believe that you're using your talents to the best of your ability on this side of heaven, I don't know that the guarantee matters. I think the obedience is what God is really desiring from us. And just watching us walk it out, and we're going to learn and we're going to shift and we're going to change and we're going to alter and we're going to, add to and take away from as we're doing the thing. But there's no guarantee and there's no chicken exit. It's like when you get to that point where you're like right on the precipice of putting it out into the world, like that should not be the point where you're like, and you know what? I don't think I can do it now. And yet I'm seeing woman after woman get to that point where she's done some of the legwork. You've thought of the name, you've thought of the price, you've thought of who your ideal client is, you've got your elevator pitch down, you know who you want to serve and what kind of a transformation you want to bring to their life, you know what product you want to sell. And then you get to the point where you need to push go, like you need to push go, like you need to push go, and you're stuck and you're frozen and you're looking for a chicken exit. So here's what I told her that I want to tell you. First, I think it's really important you remember your why you started this thing in the first place. I think it's really important that you remember what you feel like your purpose is here on earth for. And by the way, I mean, our purpose is to serve him, right? But I mean, what talents did God give to you? What did he deposit into you that he wants you to use so you can feed your family and to his glory? And I think it's really important that we remember that. I think it's important that we remember why, who we're doing this for, why we're doing it. I think it's really important that we remember that God would rather an obedient heart every single day of the week. There's probably never going to be things that we do on the side of heaven where we have a guarantee that there's going to be success or the results can be guaranteed. You just can't, right? It's nearly impossible. But I do think it's really important that when we've worked to get to a certain point that we recognize this is where resistance very possibly could come in. This is where the enemy will really start to mess with my head. This is when I start feeling the very most vulnerable right before I hit that button that says go. But listen, friend, this is also the most important time to do that. Take a deep breath. I don't know who was the person that coined, you need 20 seconds of insane courage. But that's such a good rule. 20 seconds of insane courage, just hit go. You don't know what you don't know. So you have no way of knowing what's about to happen. But what you also don't know is what if it goes better than you think? What if you actually do have people sign up? What if you actually do sell a bunch of earrings that first day that you launch your website? What if you actually do have people sign up for your paid group? What if people actually visit your blog? Like, you will not know until you've tried. The bottom line is most people, they get so scared right at that point that feels most vulnerable that for a lot of people, it's just easier to shrink back and to use different excuses of why they're not going ahead, and which is a chicken exit, than to just go ahead and try based on what they already have, based on what they already know, with results that are very much unknown. I want you to know I'm rooting so hard for you today, but stop using excuses. Stop letting yourself off the hook. Stop giving yourself a chicken exit, saying you really don't know when you actually do, or saying you're just not sure because none of us are, or saying that you need to work on it a little more because you actually don't, but just actually getting the thing done so that you have so much more courage the next time even that you're going to have to put something out into the world. I hope that this was super helpful for somebody today. It's kind of hard, by the way, to name a podcast The Chicken Exit. So if this was for you today, though, will you let me know? Will you let me know if you're the one that I'm talking to that's been letting herself off the hook and giving herself a chicken exit? Because I want you to stop, and I want you to be able to continue putting one foot in front of the other, accomplishing on this side of heaven what God's asking you to do. I also want to tell you about 30 days of prayer devotions with Bible verses, a study guide, and some reflection questions that my team has put together that I think would be a blessing to you. You can go to jenniferallwood.com/30 days of prayer. That's the number 30, like don't type it out, but 30 days of prayer, and get those prayer devotions. That may really help you and be helpful for you as you're trying to just muster up the courage to do the thing, to not let yourself off the hook, to continue putting one foot in front of the other, to believe that, God's asking you to do what he's asked you to do. He's also responsible for a lot of the results. And he doesn't expect perfection, but he does expect obedience. I hope that this was helpful for somebody today. I'm rooting for you. Let me know on Instagram if this was you, and we'll see you again next week.